Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving into the high-stakes world of luxury real estate. And listen, if you're still using yesterday's strategy, you need to know that the rulebook has been completely torn up and rewritten.
And no, this isn't just some rhetorical question. The strategies that secured those multi-million-dollar deals just a few years ago, they're now totally obsolete. In fact, they could be the very thing that's holding you back, because the game, well, it has fundamentally changed. Okay, so first, let's just get our bearings. The luxury market has been an absolute roller coaster. And yeah, while it's starting to stabilize a bit, there is no going back to the old way of doing things. The entire landscape has been permanently altered. And this brings us to a really crucial point. We are dealing with a totally new breed of client. You know, in that $5 million plus arena, buyers are playing a different sport entirely. They demand a level of precision and preparation that's just, well, it's non-negotiable. So let's break down exactly who this new buyer is. Because if you don't understand their mindset, what motivates them, and how they operate, you really don't stand a chance of earning their business. And this slide right here, it just brilliantly illustrates the core psychological shift. You know, it used to be all about selling the dream, the lifestyle, the feeling. And that's still part of it for sure. But now it's the last part. Today's buyers are incredibly analytical. They need the numbers to make perfect sense first, and only then will they let emotion come in and seal the deal. Now, what's so interesting about this is the crystal clear profile it paints. I mean, these aren't just wealthy individuals. We're talking about entrepreneurs and execs from tech, from finance. They're global, they're sharp, and they are obsessed with due diligence. Trust me, they will know the flood zone, the insurance climate, and what the seller paid for the house before they even book a showing. They come armed with a whole team of advisors, and they move incredibly fast once all the data is verified. So, knowing who they are is the first half of the puzzle. Now we have to understand what they actually want. And a one-size-fits-all approach is just a recipe for failure, because their priorities are incredibly specific. Think of this table as your cheat sheet. You have to know which type of buyer you're working with. So for a primary residence, it's all about privacy, top-tier schools, and the stability of the local tech situation. But for a second home, totally different story. They want zero headaches. It has to be turnkey, low maintenance, no renovations. And for an investor, it's a completely different conversation, all about rental flexibility and resale liquidity. Your pitch has to be tailored perfectly to these very distinct needs. Let's use Florida as a perfect case study here. It was the epicenter of that whole Miami gold rush. Buyers there aren't looking for a project. They demand homes that are move-in ready and built for modern life. We're talking new or totally renovated, impact glass for storm protection, a recent roof to keep those insurance costs down, and amenities like generators, wellness spaces, and that seamless indoor-outdoor living. A quick cosmetic flip with cheap finishes? That's not going to cut it anymore. Okay. So this brings us to the most critical question of all. Given this new reality, how do you adapt your strategy? How do you actually create a playbook that wins in this environment? This slide right here captures the single biggest transformation you have to make. Your job is no longer to be a salesperson who just presents a property. Your new role is to be a trusted advisor who adds tangible, analytical value. You're there to enable your clients to make these confident, high-stakes decisions. It's a really profound shift from persuasion to consultation. And that means your knowledge has to go so much deeper. The MLS data, that's just the tip of the iceberg. They've already seen all of that. They expect you to be an expert on everything underneath. The construction quality, the zoning flexibility, the real-world implications of insurance, and most importantly, the long-term resale value of their investment. So here it is, your new 4-step playbook. First, prepare the numbers. Have the insurance quote, the roof age, the flood data ready from day one. And never, ever say, "I'll get back to you." Second, remove objections. A pre-inspection lets you fix all those little issues before they become major doubts. Third, master the presentation. Luxury buyers see your presentation as a direct reflection of value, so do not cut corners. And fourth, advise with precision. This is where you stop being just an agent and start being truly indispensable. So let's wrap this all up by focusing on the ultimate currency in this new environment. It's something far more valuable than commission and a heck of a lot harder to earn. Ultimately, the single most important takeaway from all this is simple. Your success is no longer measured by how many homes you can show. It's measured by your ability to be an indispensable advisor, to add quantifiable value, and to build unwavering trust with a clientele that, frankly, demands nothing less.
And that is the question you really need to ask yourself, because your answer is going to define your entire career in the luxury market of 2026 and beyond. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.